Hi everyone, this is Grace of GB Maltese, and it's been almost a month since I've been on here. There's been a lot of things going on around in my household and my family, and I'll tell you a little bit about that as I diamond paint. I've had a lot of hand pain because I was doing quite a bit of crocheting to finish my grandson and his wife's blanket. Their baby is due October 20th. Maybe it may come early, we don't know. But I wanted to show you a picture because I went ahead and gave it to them. But here is how my blanket came out. I think it was really cute. All of these around here are small granny squares. This square in the middle was a big granny square. And then I had to make an applique out of crochet. It's made out of several pieces. And then you go around it with granny square pieces. Let me get it back on there. And there's a kind of a sideways view. You can kind of see how big it is. I wanted to make it big enough the baby can use it for quite a while. They can use it for tummy time now and then when he's older. And I also made them a crocheted puppy. I made this out of burlap blanket yarn, and I just thought it came out so cute. I gave him a little short tail. Just took pictures from the back, and there he is laying down. So anyway, that's yarn for another project I have going. So I wanted to show you my crocheted things that I did for my wonderful grandson, his wife, and their baby DJ. Okay, so put that away for now. I haven't been doing a whole lot of diamond painting due to all of the crocheting and resting my hands in between crochet time, so I didn't have too much pain before I had to crochet again. I'm going to be working on this gorgeous little piece. This is by Emma Casey, and it's so adorable. It is called A Dragonfly Surprise, and it's licensed. I got this from Bella Art Diamonds. Emma Casey also sells at other shops. I'll put her YouTube channel link down below, and you can watch and you can find out other places. She also has an Instagram, so go check her out. She's got some really, really cute paintings. So anyway, I'm going to, I decided I'm going to use my light pad today. I haven't used it in a while, and I thought, I'm going to use my light pad today. So, I hope things are going well with you and yours. That's what I was going to talk to you about today, why there hasn't been any videos in quite some time. Main reason is we've had some illness in the family. The first thing that happened about, it's been maybe 2 months. My husband started getting really bad headaches, and he never has to take medication for a headache. So he was really getting worried about it. You always think the worst, as you know, when you have headaches that just don't seem to go away. So he went to our family doctor, and she wasn't sure, what was causing it. And he had this little bump on top of his head. He wasn't sure if he'd hit it. He does know that he hit his neck at work on something pretty hard. He hit the back of his neck. I think he stood up and hit something really hard, but didn't think anything of it. So she prescribed him some medication. Well, she forgot to call it in, evidently, because we kept calling the... No, I think they did call it in. I think it was the pharmacy that didn't bother filling it. We kept calling, and they said that they hadn't called, and so I called the doctor's office. Well, long story short, there was no medicine for him. The next day, he was really hurting. So he went back to our family doctor, and he told her, I would like to have a CAT scan done to make sure there's nothing going on in my head. So she did. She called it in, and he went and got one done, and they didn't see anything, like where the bump was on his head. They didn't see any type of abnormalities. So she again called the prescription in, and they got it, and what she ordered was for tension headaches, and he took those. And my husband, he is the world's worst about taking medication. He does not want to take it. I'm like, if you're not going to take it, don't complain to me about your head. You know, after a while, you can't help it. Just take it. It's not going to hurt you. Well, it's going to mess with my liver. I said, you're not taking enough for it to just, all of a sudden, your liver's going to just poof. So he did, and other times he would just take Tylenol or Advil, and it was helping. Well, he just kept thinking about his head and decided to go see a neurologist. So the next, I don't remember if it was the next, maybe it was 2 weeks later. His head was feeling some better, but he wanted to still go. He was still having a bit of headache, more than he normally ever gets. So we went, and the neurologist looked at him. He had him touch his nose with his eyes closed and walk and do other things. I guess checking to see if he had a stroke or if there was something else going on in his head. But he told him, he said, and he looked at the bump on his head, and he said, oh, that's nothing. He told him that it was nothing to worry about. Our doctor had sent the results from the CAT scan, and he said everything looked fine. And Jerry was saying, well, I'm not sure if I should have had a CAT scan or an MRI. And he said, well, an MRI will check the soft tissues and muscles. The CAT scan will check bones and things like that. So he told him, this is what he told him. He said, I think that you are having nerve spasms in your neck. And Jerry hadn't even told him about hitting his neck. But that's what he said, that will cause the pain that you're having, that you have described. And that makes perfect sense, because he did hit his neck really hard. So we went on home, and he seemed to be doing some better. His neck was still getting sore. He said, my neck it pops when I turn it. And I said, honey, mine does that all the time. I'm just like, I can just roll. I said, you see me rolling my neck all the time. I said, it's popping all the time. And probably most of you out there have the same thing. When you kind of roll your neck around, you can hear it kind of making a crunch sound from the bones or whatever is crunching in there. I have heard that it's air, but I don't know. I don't know what causes it. But my neck will get stiff, especially if you craft a lot and you're looking in one position. My crochet really was doing it to me. So I was really having some stiff neck problems on some days. But then his head was bothering him a little bit. Not nearly as bad, but a little. And he just really wanted to get an MRI done, because he said, I don't know what's going on in there, and blah, blah, blah. So he called and made another appointment with the neurologist. We were supposed to have gone today, in fact. But on Monday, the office called, and he said, well, actually, I'm feeling a whole lot better, so I really don't think I need to come in. So he canceled it. Well, not long after he canceled it, he told me his neck started hurting. Of course it's going to hurt when you start thinking about things. But anyway, he'd already canceled it because he was wanting this doctor to get an MRI for him. But he's feeling so much better, he canceled it. And I said, if it just bothers you, go to our regular doctor. And I'm sure she can schedule an MRI if you need it. So, that's where that has landed. And so this has been an ongoing problem for a couple of months. And we've been to the doctor 3 different times going to the doctor. One of the doctors, the specialist, we had to drive a little over an hour away to go there because we're in a small town. Then the next item was I had to, I'm having my yearly exam October 10th. And I'm at the age that they wanted to do a bone density test on me. So on September 3rd, I had to go get a mammogram. So that's always a joy. And a bone density test. Well, I won't find out the results until, well, I did get the results. They sent me the results of the mammogram. Everything was normal, thank the Lord. And I know nothing about the bone density test, scan. I also had to do this other test that I did at home where they check to make sure you don't have colon cancer. And if you've ever done one of those tests, you know what I'm talking about. You probably don't want me telling you that story. If you do, I will, but oh my gosh. And that had to be mailed off, but everything came back negative. Thank the Lord for that. So I'm just waiting on that bone density scan to hear from her on that. I have to go in and then have my blood tests and things done. Then my daughter has been like kind of having a hard time getting her breath, and she walks. She can walk 13 miles at a time, but she's always kind of going like this. I think it has to do with probably her anxiety, but you know, I don't know. She has an eating disorder, but she's doing great with it. She's doing so much better with it. And the doctor, one of her doctors said, I want you to go to the cardiologist and make sure there's nothing wrong with your heart. Because a lot of times there can be, if there's an eating disorder. So we went for the initial visit and they just did an EKG. Everything was fine. But we have to go September 30th, this coming Monday. We have to go to their office, which is about an hour away. And they're going to do stress test, sonogram, because he did say that she has a heart murmur. He said, don't go look it up don't go Googling it. He said, because it'll scare you. And he said, it's not that bad. But they're going to do a sonogram to check it. Make sure everything is looking good. And blood tests and all kinds of things. So we'll be there for I don't know how long. They're doing a lot of tests. So we got to do that this coming Monday. And then they're going to give her the results October the 10th. And mine is in the morning, October 10th, for my checkup. And Catherine's will be in the afternoon. But he comes to an office here in our town 1.5 days a week. So we'll be meeting him in our small town. I think she said 2:30. So thankfully we don't have to drive all the way. And they're going to put a heart monitor on her for 2 to 3 days. See how her heart is doing. She's got the same thing my husband does. And they've always said that's great. She has a very slow heartbeat. When Jerry was younger, his heartbeat would be 40, something. Well, a lot of times hers is in the 40s. One time it was at 38, and that was like, okay, that's not good. You still want it to be so slow that it's not beating at all. So they're gonna check all of that, but she gets that from her daddy. So it's been a little crazy. This month has been insane. September has been a month to remember, not remember, and it's going on into October for some of it. So got to get those things done. So went to the hospital with her. I mean, not the hospital, the doctor's office. I had to go to the hospital for my testing, then to the doctor with my husband. So it's been a little bit crazy. And I was doing a lot of crochet, and I thought about doing some crochet on my video, but then I thought, this is too important. This is gonna be like for my grandbaby, my great grandbaby. I don't want to make any mistakes, so I decided not to. Like, I can't take any chances on that, because I had to do a lot. I had to do some counting on certain parts of it. And if you knit or crochet or do counted cross stitch, you know, on the counting part, you can't be really talking and doing it at the same time. And the blanket was getting pretty good size as I was getting to the end. And amigurumi, using the blanket yarn, it came out larger. And also when I use thicker yarn like the blanket yarn, that really, really hurts my hands. Let me know if you've used that to do any crochet with. That just, you got to use a bigger hook, and it's just thick to pull through. But amigurumis are not the easiest things for me to work on and talk, because I'm counting a lot. You got to make sure your count does not go off, or your amigurumi ain't gonna come out. It may come out, but it may not look anything like you had intended it to look. So when I did finish the blanket, my husband goes, "Oh, thank you. That's that for me." And he already knew it wasn't, but he's always doing that if I'm making something for someone else. And yes, I have made things for him, so he can't say I haven't. I've made him a blanket. I made him, he wanted a pouch for his phone. He puts that little pouch in his pocket to carry with him everywhere. He has that little pouch I made. It's got a button on it. I made it to fit his phone, and you just put it inside. It has a flap, and he buttons it up, and it has kept it in good shape. He hadn't had any problems with it. The other day he couldn't find it. My poor husband, he can't find his things half the time. More than half, okay? Maybe 80% or more of the time. Have you seen my glasses? Just as reading glasses. Do you know what I did with my keys? I can't find my wallet. It's something all the time. And I'm like, do you remember where you walked when you were doing that? Well, no. Okay. So it's an all-out search. If he loses his phone, I usually end up having to call it. And a lot of times it's outside in the truck, because he somehow leaves it out there. Do not ask me why or how, but he does. Poor thing. He's losing things constantly. Do any of you have a husband or anyone, a child or anyone that's like that? Because I've heard other people say, yeah, the same thing happens to me. I'm always having to help find something. Poor Jerry. It's just, I mean, it's pretty much all, every day, all the time. This has been going on for years, so there's nothing wrong with the brain. If it is, it's been going on for a very, very long time. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if it runs in the family. His mom was like that. I'll never forget. She was looking for a pair of scissors. She's been gone since 2017. Neither one of us have our parents any longer. But I remember she was looking for a pair of scissors, and she said, and I own 3 pairs of scissors, and I can't even find one. I don't know if we ever found those scissors. She was looking in all kinds of drawers. So I think he may have gotten that from his mama. She just put things, and I'm always telling it, put it back in the same place you took it out and you won't lose it. Well, that's a joke. I know what it's like for him at work, because I've helped him do a few things around the house, and what he does is he'll take a tool or whatever it is, and when he's finished using it, he's liable to just set it anywhere. I see him put it way off somewhere. When it's time for him to use that tool again, I don't know what I did with that tool. I said, well, it's right here, right where you set it. I kept my eye on it. But that's a constant running pattern here. Poor thing. I tried to put things exactly where I picked it up from, so I don't have that problem. But I just think that he's so thinking so much about something else, he doesn't even think about where he's putting things. He'll put them in another room. He has no idea where he's put it. Well, that's why I don't usually have my phone in here. So I don't have it going off like that. I'll check it later. Talking to my friends right now. So, this month's been a little bit crazy. When I did the blanket, I had to order all new yarn. That's one thing. And when I did the puppy dog, I had to choose. If you saw how much yarn I have, you'd be going, girl, you couldn't find anything? Well, not the colors I wanted. I just ordered some more for another blanket that I'm doing. Another baby blanket for one of my daughter's friends. So, yeah. I'm going to show you a picture of that because I just fell in love with it. This is a little girl, so I get to do... I have 3 great nephews. So I've been making a lot of boy things. So this time, I'm making this. Isn't it gorgeous? I just love it. And here's the yarn. It's already come in. It's done with Karen Simply Soft, if I can speak here. So those are the colors. I just think it's gorgeous. But isn't that pretty? I mean, I wouldn't mind having that one myself. But I just love it. It's so pretty. Anyway, I'll be working on that one eventually, but I want to do some more of my diamond painting, and I want to do some more of my cross stitch, my stamped cross stitch. I love doing my stamped cross stitch too. I find it just as relaxing as doing my diamond painting because I do not have to count anything. I'm able to just put a thread in. What I do is I choose the color that I see the most of, and I do all of that color just like I do with my diamond painting. So to me it's very similar, so I guess that's why I like it so much, because I'm not really having to think about it, and I can take it anywhere. You hold it. I actually have a lap stand that I use when I'm doing it, and I have had someone ask some questions about cross stitch, so I need to do a couple of videos on some certain stitches that I've been asked about. So whether you're interested or not, you can watch it or not watch it. But it's a fun hobby if you hadn't tried it. And it is very inexpensive when you get them. One of my favorites, I like biggestcraft.com, and I like New Craft Day. Biggest Craft is probably the one I order from most, but on New Craft Day, they also have diamond painting, and they have some very interesting pieces like, I saw they had a Christmas design, and I almost got it, and I may have to go back and look and see if I can find it. Excuse me, because I think I want it. It's diamond painted, and it's got a backdrop, and the front of it looks, I think it was like snow, and you just set it out. And I thought, that is pretty cool. It'd be a fun, fast, easy project. And they have some other things like that. Sometimes it's fun to do a small project. Now, if I'm going to do a diamond painting that has been done by an artist, yes, I do purchase from companies that sell licensed artwork. And I guess one of these days I'll need to make a video on some of my favorite places, some of the ones that I use a lot. But there are so many new ones out there now, I can't keep up with them all. There are a bunch of new diamond painting shops. Tell me which one is your favorite. Do you have a favorite diamond painting shop? I like Dreamer Designs quite a bit, and I have a couple I ordered from them that I'm going to show. Diamond Dots I like. I actually got one of their Masterclass ones a few months ago that I haven't shown because I've been a little busy doing other things. But I need to show some of those. I like Captured by Radiance a whole lot. And I like Bella Art Diamonds. Bella Art. That is so confusing for me because I'm used to saying Bella Art de Nicole. If you go to Bella Art de Nicole, you can get to all of their diamond paintings and everything, so you can type that in. Also, oh my goodness, there's so many. I like to try sometimes the smaller places to give the smaller shops a chance. I know Captured by Radiance, they are struggling because there's not a lot of people purchasing from them, so they can't put things out all the time. But I love their things. I really do. I've got one of theirs that I was working on. I'm going to pull that one back out again and work on that some more. I just happen to have this one sitting out. I used to only work on one at a time, but sometimes now I have two. Just because that's the way it ends up. I don't know why. But I want you to see how their, I've got it rolled up right now. Their drills lay so nicely, just like these. As you can see, these are very shiny. And these are squares. And you don't see big holes and gaps. And I've got my light pad on underneath it. And you're not seeing huge gaps in there, which is sometimes annoying, especially when you have your light pad turned on, to see those gaps. So there's that. Come on. Oh, I don't know if you guys are interested in this type of thing, but I get really sometimes fascinated. I'll read about old movies And like the Wizard of Oz, I was reading about some things that happened on the set that I hadn't heard of. Now, some of them I had heard of. Like, I knew about Buddy Ebsen was supposed to be the Scarecrow. Not the Scarecrow. The Tin Man. But they were using aluminum dust for the silver. They put I think they said they put cold cream on there. Or something like that. Oh, my battery's going out on me. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay. So, as I was saying, the Tin Man was supposed to be Buddy Ebsen. They were using aluminum powder for the makeup. And when they put it on, since it was a powder, it got into his lungs and really messed him up. They said that it lasted him, I think, the rest of his life. He had problems with his lungs. So that's awful. Just to think that, and then you don't get the part, because he was in the hospital for months after it happened. So they had to get someone else. And they said that the Scarecrow costume was not comfortable at all. I don't think any of those costumes would be comfortable. And the lion suit was made out of actual lion skin. And I'm thinking, no. No, they didn't. They did. So, there were some weird things about the show. And the lion suit weighed, I can't remember if they said 60 pounds, 80 pounds. It was very heavy. So he was just soaking wet with sweat when they take that off and be exhausted from carrying that heavy suit around, wearing it. I just can't imagine. I don't think that would go over too well these days in Hollywood. And I know most of you probably know about Judy Garland. They thought she was putting on a little too much weight, so they started her on weight loss pills. And she also had to do her schoolwork, so she would be tired. And I'm pretty sure they probably gave her uppers or whatever to keep her awake. She put in a full day. That was before they had these labor laws we now have in effect. So it was awful. And the poor thing, she was given medication to help her sleep. She'd be on uppers to help her stay awake. I think they allowed her to eat only soup, maybe celery. It wasn't much. I don't know how she survived doing that. That just, it amazed me what lengths they went to for these stupid beauty standards that they hold so dear in their little hearts. Jeez, awful. Another thing, they at the beginning, and I found this really strange because this I had never heard. At first, they had planned on making the Wicked Witch beautiful also, and they had hired somebody else. And when they decided, no, we want her to be ugly, the one that they had hired to be the beautiful witch for the Wicked Witch, she said, you're not going to make me ugly. And so she quit. So they got Margaret Hamilton. I can't imagine anyone else playing that part. She was fabulous. And if you didn't know, she was actually a kindergarten teacher, and she loved children. And it hurt her deeply when she found out how scared kids were of her character. She said, oh, she actually went on Mr. Rogers in her and took her costume with her to show the kids it was just make-believe. And I just thought, that is just so cool. Really sweet, kind woman. Another fact that I found out was the snow they used on the poppies was actually asbestos. So there's no telling what kind of damage that might have had, you know, laying out there in the asbestos-covered poppy field. Yeah. Because as we know now, very dangerous. And there are several other facts. Excuse me, I'll have to go back and read, try to remember, and I'll tell you more on another video. But I enjoy finding things out like that. Different facts about, well, just about anything. Interesting tidbits. I find myself searching them out and reading them, because I used to tell you some of the where words came from and about their meanings and that kind of thing, and crazy laws. Those things interest me, so I'm going to start looking at things like that to do on my WIP and chats, just because I find them interesting, and a lot of you found them interesting also. And then I'll also tell you anything crazy that's going on in my life, and I can still talk about some of the crazy things that happened when I taught school and other things in my life, because sometimes some crazy things just happen to us, don't they? And sometimes it's fun to reminisce about things, and sometimes it's not. Some things aren't as good, but I do not like to talk about yucky things, because we all have problems in our life, right? And we've got to try to keep our chin up and keep on going, no matter what. I know that there's just a few of you that watch my whole video, and I want to thank you so much for that. And if you made it to the end, would you leave me, let's see, I want you to leave me a little emoji. Could you leave me a, it's not quite October. I was going to say a pumpkin, but let's make it a leaf, because fall just started. Any kind of a leaf that emoji that you find. If you can't find a leaf emoji, then would you just send me a smiling emoji? Share a smile with me, or send both, I don't care. But because I really love and appreciate and thank you for watching my whole video. And I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do some surprises for some of you guys who really support me. Whether I am able to make videos or not, you come back. You just keep coming back. And I love you for it. Thank you so much. And those of you, if you're new, if you want to subscribe, I would love it. Doesn't cost you a penny. And you can watch some of my older videos, and I'm hoping to make some new things. I'm hoping things start settling down. I know that when the baby comes, I will be going, that's, like I said, around October 20th, but I'll be going to spend some time with them to help them with the baby, and I'll tell you all about them. I'm excited about the whole thing. So anyway, you guys have a lovely day, evening, morning, whatever it may be. Love you guys. God bless you. And I will talk to you again another day. Love you lots. Bye.